I purchased this wooden grilling set for my husband for Father's Day, and I am going to personalize it using my WeCreat 20-watt Vision. Let's get started. Hello everyone, and welcome to Crafting with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and thank you so much for joining me today. In today's tutorial, I will be demonstrating how I plan to personalize this wooden grilling set for my husband for Father's Day, but you could do this for any occasion. I'll be using whatever is in here, plus my WeCreat Vision 20-watt and some files that I found on the Creative Fabrica website. At the end of this video, if you find this helpful, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Now, without further ado, let's get this open, see what it looks like, and then make decisions about how to personalize it. Okay, so let's see what's inside. I'm a little bit concerned about this because hopefully I'll be able to engrave on it without a problem. Oh, this is going to be great. Look at this. So when I did my search to find the grilling set, I wanted to find something that didn't have a company logo on it or anything like that. And this is perfect. Okay, so this is the spatula. It doesn't have anything on it. This is awesome. So I will be able to engrave right here. This is fantastic. It also has the fork, and it comes with an apron, which he doesn't need. It also comes with tongs and the brush. I'm super excited about this. First thing I'm going to do is remove the laser beds from inside my WeCreat Vision because I want to open up the carrying case and lay it down flat, and I know it'll be too high up if I try to put it inside with the laser beds inside. Now, I've already done some test engraving off camera just to see what the perfect settings would be, and just based on my test results, I decided that trying to go with a power anything above 58 is too much. So that one right there, that little small test is 58 at 100. The next one, the smallest line right there, the one that worked was a power of 29 and a speed of 100. And that's what we're going to go with for this process. So this is what it looks like inside my WeCreat. I have the carrying case completely opened and flat. I have the handle at the top and it is out of the way of the laser head. And I feel good about the surface. I feel like this is going to be a safe space for my laser head to not touch the carrying case. I'll close the lid and go over to the computer so we can look at the file that I'm going to download from the Creative Fabrica website. I am on the Creative Fabrica website and I decided to download this bundle. It has 4 different options to choose from. These files that I'm going to use are SVGs. I'm using the file that is in the top left corner. Now, because I want to personalize the grill set for my husband, I do want to find a font that matches the Grill Father font. And the one that I found is one called Fiorillo. And this is what it looks like. You can see right there my husband's name. It says Peter is the. And what I did was download the open type font. This font is a free download, but it is not for commercial use. If you did get the free download, you are welcome to purchase the font from the website. But I did go with the free option because I am making this as a gift for my husband. Whenever you download a new font, it's important to know that downloading is just the first step. You have to download the font. You also have to extract it and install it. So make sure you follow all 3 steps in order to use the font in the WeCreat Make It software. I am in the WeCreat Make It software and I am connected to the WeCreat Vision. You can see that the carrying case is on my screen, and it's flat and it's open. What I selected was metal aluminum coated yellow 5mm, and I felt like that was the closest option to what I was working with because the carrying case does not actually feel like wood. The next thing I did was I went through and found the file that I plan to use. Is actually option number 4 in the list of options from that bundle. This is the file I'm planning to use. It's called the Grill Father. This is option 4 in that bundle. And what I'm going to do is click on split right here at the top. Make sure you have the file selected. Click the option to split the file if you're planning to use it the way I'm using it here. And then what I did is I moved the word the just out of the way of Grill Father. I'm going to select Grill Father, and then I'm going to go back to the top and I'm going to click on merge, subtract overlapping layers, and I'll put it back together. Then what I did was I clicked on the T for text in the left panel, and I'm going to add 2 words, Peter is, and I'm going to change it to that font that I just installed, the one that's called Fiorella. And it is one of my recently used fonts. And once I have his name changed to that text, I'm going to choose the option to do a fill engrave. And I'm also going to make sure that the text that I just added, Peter is the same height and width as the word the, because I want the proportions to be evenly matched, and I also want this file to look like it came like this. So I'm making sure the height and the width is pretty good and it is proportioned and balanced. And I'm also going to select the word the, and I'm going to have to merge it and put the layers back together the same way I did with Grill Father. So I'm going to select the, let's make sure I just only have that selected. I'll go up to the top and I'll click merge, subtract overlapping layers. I'll select Peter is and the, and I will group that all together so it stays together. I'll make sure it's aligned, and then I'll group it, and then I'll put it all together with Grill Father so that it looks nicely when it's time for engraving. What I'm doing right here is just resizing the file and making sure that it is as centered as possible on the carrying case. And I'm using the screws at the top and bottom right there in the middle to help me know where the center is. I don't want the file to be too tall, and I also don't want it to be too wide. Even though I don't have the proportions locked, I'm just paying attention to where it's sitting on the carrying case and how it will look once it's all put together. Now that I pretty much have the file where I want it, it's time to choose the settings that will work the best for this carrying case. What I decided to go with was metal aluminum coated yellow. So I chose metal, I chose aluminum coated yellow, and I chose the 5mm option. That was the closest fit to what this carrying case feels like. I ultimately went with a power of 29 and a speed of 100. I feel like that would work the best for this material. I didn't want the power to be too strong because I don't feel like this is full like wood on the outside, and I didn't want to risk damaging the carrying case. Now that I have the file sized exactly where I want it, it is important to remember, if you are planning to make this and you want to follow this same procedure, to go ahead and rotate your image twice so that when you give the gift to the recipient, the file is facing the recipient. So now I have the template where it's facing the handle. So when I hand it to my husband and he opens it, he'll see it. It'll read in the right direction. I'm also making sure that the file is centered right there where those screws are at the top and bottom. That's helping me with alignment. Once I do my autofocus, I will click start, and once it's prepared, I'll definitely do framing twice. I like to do framing 2 times just to make sure where the engraving will take place. Okay, so I'm going to click the option to do framing, and I am going to watch as the laser goes around the intended area for engraving. I'll make sure to do that twice, and then once I'm confident about the area, I'll click the continue option. Okay, we are at the point of getting started, and according to the time that's indicated in the software, this should take approximately 50 minutes. I did not actually time it and see if that was accurate, but if I had to guess, I would say it was somewhere between 45 and 50 minutes. Okay, so here we are going through the process. Now, I would not say it's necessary to stand exactly right in front of the WeCreate while it's going, but it doesn't hurt to stay close. It's actually a good idea to stay close by and make sure that nothing is happening that should not be happening. And it's also kind of cool to watch it all happen in real time. So now this is, always one of my favorite parts. Let's take a look at it. Look at that. Let's see.
The finished
result.
It looks
so
really good.
This is how it looks so far, and I'm already so excited. I know my husband is going to love this so much. Now let's do the accessories. In order to personalize the accessories, I decided to use some of the phrases that my husband says the most. One of them is Ford, like the car. So I added that to the handle of the spatula using that same Fiorella font. And I thought that I would just be able to engrave with the spatula on the base, but the WeCreate was not able to find it, so I had to change it up, and I added a piece of basswood underneath, and I taped the spatula to it so that the autofocus could happen and I could start the laser engraving. There's the spatula with the quote on top, and the spatula is taped down to a piece of basswood. I decided to go with a speed of 78 and a power of 55. I didn't want the engraving to be too dark, just dark enough to make a bold statement on the handle. Again, I did framing a couple of times to make sure that the handle would be engraved in the exact place where I wanted it to engrave. And whenever I would look at the intended area and it wasn't on point, I would go back and do framing again. And I continued to adjust the text until it was right in place where I wanted the engraving to happen. Doing multiple framing checks really did help me to make sure my engraving was in the exact right spot. This looks excellent. I was so excited about this. So once I finished with this, I continued with the rest of the accessories. Now with the brush and the fork, I was able to tape it down and follow this same process. With the tongs, I had to remove the laser bed and then tape the tongs down to a piece of basswood. Okay, so this is what the spatula looks like. Then I followed, once again, I followed the same process for the fork and the brush, and I really did love the way those turned out. I just had them taped to basswood with the laser beds inside. However, with the tongs, I had to take the laser bed out and just tape the tongs to the base or to the bottom of the WeCreate because it was a little bit too tall and it touched the laser. So the tongs are being engraved, and that means we are in the final stretch, and I just cannot wait for you to see the finished product because I love it so much. Hopefully you are finding this helpful. I'm going to show you what the full product looks like when it's all complete, and then we will be ready to land this plane. I have a little bit of soot, so I just removed the tape and wiped them all down with water. So this is the finished product, and what am I going to say? I love it. I love this. I know my husband is going to love it also. This is the brush. It just says, "Take me to the next phase, baby." So I'll get this put back in here. This is the spatula. It just says Ford, just like the car. This is the fork, and it says, "They call me Big Pokey." And these are the tongs, and it just says, "Yes, sir." These are all things that he says all the time. I'll get this put back in here. Hopefully you did find this helpful, and you are going to give it a try. If you did find it helpful, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye.